Welcome to Sir Betterment, where we bring you financial, motivating, and betterment knowledge. In this video, we'll talk about Europe's youngest billionaire. So without further ado, let's get into it. Can you imagine a restaurant without a mobile app? Or do you even have the patience to wait an hour just to get a ride? New information and communication technologies have profoundly impacted travelers' and customers' habits for the past decade. Today, smartphones are expanding their reach in the number of users and mobile capabilities. Digital and now mobile technology have successively disrupted industries. The ability to gather transit mobility data from smartphones and push information back to users is changing everything from operations to the commuter and customer experience. One of the famous apps available is Bolt, which is the fastest growing transportation company in Europe and Africa. But did you know that the owner of Bolt is the youngest self-made billionaire? Probably not. In this video, we'll dive deeper into how a young man built a multi-billion company. But first, what exactly is Bolt? Bolt is an Estonian mobility firm based in Tallinn, operating in over 500 locations across more than 45 countries in Europe, Africa, Western Asia, and South America. It provides vehicles for hire, micro-mobility, car sharing, and food delivery services. The company has more than 100 million customers worldwide, and more than 3 million partners use Bolt's platform to offer rides and deliveries to customers. Whether you want an electric scooter in Switzerland, need a ride to the airport in Paris, are hungry for fast food in Romania, or need a motorcycle ride in Nigeria, Bolt has got you covered. It offers a quick and convenient way for its users to order anything they want with a press of a button. No need to wait in line and sit in crowded places. More so, if you don't like waiting for hours to get a ride home, Bolt is the right app for you. It even rivaled the most famous transportation app, Uber. Bolt is recently valued at $8 billion. Sounds amazing, right? But you might be wondering, who is the master behind this genius app? Let's find out who is Bolt's founder and how he became the youngest self-made billionaire in Europe. Markus Willig. Markus Willig was born on December 17, 1993. He is an Estonian entrepreneur and founder and CEO of Bolt Technology OU. In December 2021, he became the youngest self-made billionaire in Europe. As early as the age of 12, Markus Willig had already decided he wanted to launch his own technology company. But when he turned 19, after just one semester, he dropped out of college at the University of Tauru in Estonia when he saw success with his ride-hailing service Taxify or Bolt as we know it today. The road to success. The journey so far has not been without its share of bumps. Even when Uber was generally billions of dollars, Willig launched his own app with just £5,000. Launching the ride-hailing service was probably the toughest 6 months I ever had, he says. The company was able to make it through the first few months because the team had so much conviction that we were doing something unique and better, as Willig explains during a Zoom meeting from Tallinn. In addition to its regular services, Bolt now offers e-scooters, e-bikes, and food delivery and packages after surviving yet another challenging period, the pandemic. Willig co-founded the company with his older brother, who already had experience working in the tech industry. But Markus Willig was still a high school student and had to exert more effort to convince taxi drivers in Tallinn to use his app. As the taxi services in the Estonian capital were terrible and Uber was too slow to get going, he recognized an opportunity in the city's transport industry. Prior to its rebranding in 2019, Taxify and founder Markus Willig had an obvious reason why he wanted to penetrate the transportation industry. Willig claims that taxi drivers took ages to arrive. and you'll be welcomed with dirty and not so pleasing cars when they arrive. In the spring of 2013, he conducted a research. He would approach drivers at taxi stands to find out how things worked. Villig found out that drivers could not leave their contracts with their old cab companies, were charged high monthly costs, and received nothing in return. But it was not easy for Villig to trust a 19-year-old who had not yet developed a fully functional app. When you're just sort of pitching them an idea, 90% of them will just tell you to F off. He laughs. Meanwhile, he had persuaded a freelance programmer to create a prototype platform for £5,000. Villig begged his parents for a loan for months. Over time, he amassed roughly 100 brave drivers willing to take the chance. But when he finally launched in August of 2013, he found that many of them had provided fake contact information and were unavailable when he needed them. The truth is, in reality, I had only a few dozen, he says. He started going to taxi stands and getting into cars. He went there, took their phone, and signed them up on the spot. He told the taxi drivers, "Every time you come to work, just open this app." By the next winter, he had several hundred drivers and a fully functional service. 9 months later, he had collected £70,000 in donations. After 6 months, he managed to secure an additional £1.4 million from local investors. By 2014, he had good traction, and we had a product that was working well in Estonia, he says. Villig then had to consider how to scale to other markets. But in 2015 and 2016, Uber became this juggernaut of raising more money than any tech company, he says. It was unprecedented. Nobody had raised those kinds of amounts. Not Google, not Facebook, nobody. For instance, in May 2016, Uber raised $5.6 billion, which valued the company at $66 billion. And because of that, no one was interested in their application. The next 2 years, they continued to struggle due to its multi-billion rival. It was like David versus Goliath. But Marcus didn't lose hope. He responded by running as lean a startup as possible and believes that those 2 or 3 years made Bolt what it is today. With such limited resources, Bolt spent cash with extreme caution. Fortunately, his extreme cautiousness paid off, and investors returned to Bolt once it had proved its strategy was effective and that there was room for multiple winners in the transportation industry. While investments may have returned, Villig was still very careful. Instead of spending money on advertising, Bolt reduced the commission rates for its drivers so that they could make more money. The company's lean approach helped prepare for the coronavirus pandemic. As sales dropped dramatically, Villig believed a long-term perspective was necessary to cope with the crisis. How do you cut costs without creating problems further down the line? Uber decided to cut almost 6,700 employees, or around 23% of its total workforce. Comparatively, Bolt decided there will be no layoffs among Bolt's employees since you'll never know when you may need these people for the next 6 months. He didn't think it was worth it to let them go. Instead, he asked who would accept a 30% salary cut, and surprisingly, many people were willing to take the offer. With that, it helped the business get through difficult times. In 2019, Bolt's sales amounted to £148 million. In May 2020, it announced a £100 million capital raise in the form of a convertible note. At the time, the company said this would allow it to keep growing its ride-hailing, micromobility, and food delivery businesses in Europe and Africa. The money was provided by a single investor, Naya Capital Management, who contributed significantly to the company's $67 million Series C fundraising in July 2019. In December, Bolt raised an additional £150 million. In March, it secured a £20 million investment from the International Financial Corporation. Villig says, acceleration was faster than we thought. When city life started to move again last summer, The epidemic also boosted the development of micromobility and food delivery businesses. In a short amount of time, the company was able to provide scooter sharing in 45 cities. They have ambitious goals to become Europe's largest micromobility operator by 2021. Bolt has 130,000 electric scooters in operation across 100 cities in 15 countries. At first, he was skeptical about e-scooters since he found them to be a challenging business vertical to get right. He believes Bolt has the unique approach and hardware to make e-scooters popular. He has brought his company a long way for someone who wanted to get into tech but had no idea how to start a company. He literally started by Googling, "How do you start a startup?" to a multi-billion company today. So, did you find his story inspiring? How about you? Do you have a crazy business idea? Let us know in the comments because you may be the next multi-billionaire if you start today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like. Also, click the subscribe button and notification bell for more videos like this. See you at the next one.